think it means a lot of things. It means regime change in Iran, but there was going to be regime change anyway. Khamenei was in his late 80s, not in particularly good health. He was going to die eventually. But whether this means significant change politically in Iran remains to be seen. I think the IRGC, while diminished, remains certainly the next spiritual leader or supreme leader of Iran, if there is one, will not have the sort of credibility or experience of Khamenei. But this is a greatly degraded Iran, not only because of the attacks, but what's happened over the last couple of years with the Hamas, after the Hamas attack on Israel, the degradation of Hezbollah, the killing of Nasrallah, the subsequent collapse of the Assad regime because Iran, Russia, and Hezbollah couldn't help the Assad regime slaughter, you know, tens of thousands of Syrians anymore. The regime collapsed. The setback for Hamas, another Iranian proxy, the containment in a way of the Hashid. And so, yeah, it's a different region for Iran and its friends, which it has fewer and fewer. Well, the IRGC was always the power behind the throne. They remain the dominant force in the country. We'll see how this campaign plays out, whether there is sustained pressure, attacks on the IRGC, its networks, its assets in the country, the besiege, the regime's, you know, apparatus of repression and regional destabilization. You know, if that happens, we may be in a different place. But for the time being, the IRGC remains and would seem to be the incumbent. We don't even have, once again, a change in the system. The theocracy remains in Iran. I think it's too early to be talking about a return to the days of the Shah of Iran. You know, when Iran was, you know, allied with the United States, the West, had friendly relations with Israel. But in many ways, you know, what you're seeing now, the regime bringing out its supporters, and hearing, you know, great celebrations and seeing great celebrations in the street. This is a divided country, probably, you know, along the lines of Lebanon, where, you know, thousands of people cheered for the death of Hassan Nasrallah, and he still managed to get 40,000 people at his funeral. So hard to say. Well, I think Iran has limited options, but it still has a significant missile arsenal, which it is largely firing on its Gulf neighbors. You know, more missiles and drones targeting UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, you know, Bahrain than Israel. It's odd, but you know, this can persist for some time. I think Iran has limited numbers of launchers, plenty of missiles, and can continue indefinitely. You know, sooner or later, I think it will diminish. The United States and Israel will ultimately be able to suppress this. But of course, you know, for Iran, it's like Hezbollah after 2006. As long as they're standing, they will declare divine victory, even if all their leadership is wiped out. I would imagine Hezbollah today will declare divine victory after its 2024 engagement with Israel as well. So, yeah, I think, you know, the region's in for a bit of a turbulent time, but it may very well emerge better. I think this is the open question. You know, Hezbollah threatened to attack Israel if they killed Khamenei. Guess what? They killed Khamenei. What's Hezbollah doing? I don't think Israel is particularly concerned about it because of the drubbing Hezbollah took after they launched an unprovoked war against Israel in after October 7th. But it'll be interesting to see if they stand up to their word and bring Lebanon into yet another war with Israel. or whether Hezbollah understands from this experience that it's not a winning strategy to be part of the axis of resistance. Who came to the aid of Hezbollah when they were being destroyed by Israel or degraded by Israel in the end of 2024? Iran certainly didn't. Who has come to the aid of Iran as they're hit by the United States and Israel? Not Venezuela, not Hezbollah, not Hamas, not the Assad regime. Oh, yeah, the Assad regime no longer exists. Not China, not Russia, not Cuba. It's a pretty lonely place to be a member of the Axis of Resistance these days. And I hope the lesson that Hezbollah takes from this is that it may not be productive to keep dragging Lebanon into unproductive, unhelpful, destructive wars with Israel. Maybe it's better to build, a country that is enormously successful, like Lebanon could be, like the Emirates, like any of these Gulf states. Lebanon has enormous potential, human potential, just as a country. If it didn't have this lodestone called the Axis of Resistance and Hezbollah around its neck. President Trump talked about regime change, about weakening the current theocracy that dominates, governs, represses the people of Iran and destabilizes the region. The United States isn't going to put boots on the ground, and it's unclear to me. I mean, we will see in the coming days and weeks how committed the president is to continuing these armed operations, and what the cost is, not only for the United States but for the region, U.S. partners in the region. I think the vision is that this regime will be weakened, the people will rise up and determine their own destiny. I think we're probably a long way off from that. This is a president, like him, hate him, who, wants, there to be peace and prosperity. He doesn't want to get the United States, notwithstanding the huge armada assembled. He doesn't want to get the United States embroiled in long-term wars, conflicts abroad. I think his style is to go short and intensive, the Maduro model, the end of the 12-day war model, and get out. So I wouldn't expect something that is prolonged, but we'll see what the ultimate outcome of this is. Once again, all the IRGC has to do is remain standing. And the IRGC is committed to remaining in power, as we saw on January 8th and 9th. They will murder thousands and thousands, 30,000 or more people, innocent civilians, to stay in power. Then they may last, quite a while without support on the ground. But this is clearly, a sick, dying regime. But it's on life support for the time being. It can stick around for some time.